today's episode, we are going to be building out the components that is going to allow us to be able to create a group chat. In the last episode, we created this presentation logic that allows us to be able to display the potential chat partner that we want to start a new chat with. In today's episode, we are going to be doing replicating what we see on the left simulator, which allows us to be able to click on this new group, navigate to the screen that allows us to be able to select potentially more than one group chat partner. And that allows us to be able to create a group channel because we can go to the screen, give our channel a name, and therefore create a new group chat. So let's get started and let's write some SwiftUI code. We're going to jump into Xcode. And the first thing that I want us to actually fix is inside of our ChatPartnerPickerScreen. If we go into our ChatPartnerPickerScreen, and if we go down to searchable, right now we have this logic, which I would like for us to rectify, or this functionality that I would like for us to rectify. And we can probably see it best if we go into the simulator. So if we go into the simulator, it's very subtle, but when we present our ChatPartnerPickerScreen, you see that the search bar does not show up on presentation. So I would like for us to be able to fix that because we have to drag it down to be able to see the search bar. And, let's just fix that really quickly. And the way to do that is actually to add another parameter to our searchable modifier. And there's a placement parameter that we can add in between the text and the prompt. And so we just say placement. And the placement parameter, we're just going to say navigation. I think it's called navigation bar draw or display mode. And we're just going to say always. And this is just telling the simulator, or it's just telling SwiftUI, we always want to show the search bar on top of our screen, on our top screen. And so if we go to our ChatPartnerPickerScreen, you can see the search bar is always present. And that looks beautiful. So let's jump right into writing the actual code that we are going to be doing today. And so I'm going to go and create a new screen. So I'm going to jump into, actually, hold on a second. Before we create a new screen, let us create the navigation logic, because if we exit out of Xcode and we go to the completed project, as you can see, we can navigate when we click on this new group item. We navigate to a new screen that has a title called Add Participants, and this allows us to be able to add multiple participants that we want to potentially chat with. So let us create the logic that is going to allow us to be able to navigate. And we're going to be using a navigation stack with a navigation destination modifier. And in order for us to do that, let us create a view model. So let's go into our channel folder. Let's create a new group. Let's create a view model group. Now let's create a new Swift file. Let us call this new Swift file ChatPartnerPickerViewModel. Right? I think that's a good name. And we're going to make it a final class. It's going to be an observable object, of course. Right? And what is this ChatPartnerPickerViewModel? Well, we need some sort of a observable object that is going to help us coordinate a lot of the logic that we're going to be writing in between this ChatPartnerPickerScreens. If you think about it, when you select on a new group, well, we navigate to this multi-partner selection screen. And we also have this logic that allows us to be able to select and deselect potential people we want to chat with. And then we navigate. And of course, we have another logic that allows us to be able to create a new group or, deselect the potential partners that we want to chat with. So in order for us to handle all of that, it's necessary for us to create some sort of a view model that helps us coordinate all of those functionalities. And the first thing I would like for us to do is to undo the routing, like I said earlier. So I'm going to create an enum that allows us to be able to undo that routing logic. And I'm just going to call it, enum channel creation routes. And the first case is going to be, multi, or maybe add group chat members. And the second case is going to be set up group chat. Now let's go create a publish property that is going to use to drive our navigation. So I'm going to declare a publish navigation stack or nav stack. And I'm going to say it's of type channel creation route. And it's going to start off as empty. And you'll see what I'm trying to do here in a little bit. So I'm going to take this ChatPartnerPickerViewModel. I'm going to go back to our ChatPartnerPickerScreen, and I'm going to declare it as a state object because it's going to be the view model responsible for this screen. So I'm going to say viewModel is equals to ChatPartnerPickerViewModel. I'm going to invoke that. And then I'm going to change the navigation stack parameter. So the navigation stack generally has a path parameter that we can use to manage the navigation routes. So we're going to say path, and I'm going to say it's the viewModel nav stack. Okay, so we're almost done, but I want us to add a navigation destination modifier in order for us to be able to use that navigation routes. So it's going to say destination, and it's going to ask for a couple of things. It's going to ask for an hashable. So I'm going to say channel creation routes itself, and it's going to ask for the destination that we actually want to go to. So let me fix this real quick. And it's going to be route in. And then I'm going to do an extension on our channel, on our ChatPartnerPickerScreen. I'm going to create a function called destination view, and this is what's going to handle the actual destination that we're going to. So I'm going to say destination view for route, which is going to be of type channel creation routes. Okay, let me modify this a little bit, expand this a little bit just to create a little bit of space for us. All right, and then I'm going to switch on route. Okay, for now, let's just create basic placeholder text. So I'm going to call it add group chat partners. And for here, I'm going to say set up group chats. Okay, then I'm going to go call this destination modifier, this destination view instead of our destination modifier. Okay, so what do we need to do next? That's the real question, right? Let's resume our SwiftUI preview to make sure everything is working. Well, what we need to do next is we need to append elements into our navigation stack that's inside of our view model. And the quickest way for us to do that right now, we can just add an untap gesture to this. Excuse me, guys. We're going to say view model that append, well, view model navigation stack, append the new elements. Let's just say add group chat partners or add group chat members. And then let's test that on the navigation on the SwiftUI preview to make sure everything is working. Yes, and it is working. So we have our navigation destination modifier setup completed. The next step is we need to go create this add group chat member screen. So on the left side, I'm going to expand things just so I can be able to see what I'm doing. I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to make it a SwiftUI view, and I'm going to call it add group chat partners screen. Partners with an S. So add group chat partner screen. I'm going to create this view. Okay. And what is this group chat partner screen, you might ask? Well, if we jump into our simulator, it's essentially this screen right here. This screen that allows us to be able to select and deselect multiple chat partners. So we need to build this. And if you look at it, it's just a navigation stack with a title, with a searchable, and we have a list. And the list has like this optional view that appears or disappears depending on if a item has been selected. And so let's get right into business. We know it's a list. We don't need to have a navigation stack right here because the parent view is already going to have a navigation stack. So we know it's a list. We know it's a searchable. So let's do that as well. And honestly, let's just make our life easier. Let's jump into ChatPartnerPickerScreen. Let us copy this searchable modifier right here because it's exactly the same thing that we're doing right now. I'm just trying to indent things properly. So I'm going to copy the searchable modifier. I'm going to go to the add group chat partner picker screen. Damn, that's a mouthful. I'm going to copy that and paste it, and then I'm going to create a state variable to house the search text. Okay. Gonna wait for our SwiftUI preview to load up. Okay, so we have our SwiftUI preview. Let's place a placeholder text right here. All right, now let's wrap this inside of a navigation stack so we can see what we're doing in the preview. Okay, that's more like it. And so if we take a look at this add group chat partner picker screen, it's actually reusing the same components as what we have here, which is our chat partner row view. And so if you go into the new group, and if you look at this components right here, and this component right here, they're basically the same thing with the exception of this as a check mark on the right side. And so for us to fix that, we're just going to make our chat partner row view just a little bit more dynamic. And the way for us to do that is let's go into our chat partner row view and let's use something called view builder to create dynamic, to make this content dynamic. Because if you think about it, it's just an H stack, right? And what we really want is at the end of this H stack, we want to be able to have a check mark right here, right? Some sort of a check mark. And that check mark is what allows us to be able to have this functionality where when we select it, we select or deselect based on that. And so for us to do that, we just need to add a view builder functionality to this chat partner row view, which allows us to be able to make it dynamic. And so the way I'm going to do that is this. I'm going to say this takes in a content, and this content is of type view. Okay. And then I'm just going to call it private let's just call it trailing trailing items, right? And it's going to be of type content. This is the power of view builder in real time. So I'm going to mark this as private as well, because I'm going to create a new initializer that allows us to be able to use this. And so I'm going to create an initializer. And what does this initializer does is, well, first, this trailing item is actually going to be a view builder. So I'm going to say at view builder, okay, trailing nav item is not just going to be of type view, it's actually going to be a closure that returns the type of contents. Okay. And I also like to make it nullable. And what I mean by that is I want to make this trailing nav item, not trailing nav item, this trailing items to be optional, meaning you don't necessarily have to pass in this this optional check mark. And so the way to do that is I'm just going to add an empty view. I'm going to default it to an empty view. And so this is peak SwiftUI right here. And this is one of the beautiful things about view builders because it really allows us to be able to build dynamic content that we can reuse. And so now I'm going to take this trailing item. I'm going to put trailing items right here. And that's all I need to do. And this is what I'm trying to do here. Now, let us expand inside of our preview. Let me show you the power of what we've been trying to do. Let's put a text here. Let's say, hey, trailing item. Look at that. Boom. It appears right here. And so you can imagine if we put an image right here and we say system name is X mark. As you can see, we're going to have an image right here. And it doesn't have to be an image. It could be a button. It could be a VStack. It could be anything. And so in this way, we just made our chat partner row view a little bit more dynamic. And now we are going to go use it inside of our Add Group Chat Partner screen. So I'm going to go back to the Add Group Chat Partner screen. I'm going to remove this, this placeholder text. And I'm going to just create a section. I'm going to create it for each. Right? And it's just, just stop data. So I'm going to say 12 and let's see, in. And now I'm going to say chat partner row view is going to take in a user. So let's use the placeholder user for now. And then it's expecting us to pass in. This is the beautiful thing about the trailing closure syntax. It's expecting us to pass in some sort of a trailing item. And in this case, the trailing item that we really want to pass in is just the check mark. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to come down here and create a function to allow us to do that just because it's more readable. I'm going to call it chat partner row view. And it's going to return some view. Right? And it's also going to take in a user, which is of type user item. And really what I want to do here is now I'm going to take, let us think for a second. So I'm going to take this right here, paste it here, the chat partner row view, the actual struct, and I'm going to put a spacer, and then I'm going to create an image. So I'm going to create an image, and it's a system image, and the system image is going to be based on whether it is selected or not. But for now, let's just put a circle system image, and the foreground style is going to be, color, let's say the system gray 4. And the image scale, let's make it large. Now let's pass in our chat partner row view function right here. It's going to expect a user. So let's just call it placeholder. And look at that. Just like that, we have this beautiful looking functionality that is very close to what we have in mind. The next part of the equation that we need to fix is we need to create a way for us to be able to select and deselect this section, each individual item. And in order for us to do that, let us wrap this inside of a button. So I'm going to create a button. And the label of the button is going to be this chat partner row view function. So chat partner row view, this is now a button, right? So that means if we put a print statement here, for example, say item selected, and we open our SwiftUI preview. Let's say we click on this. Let's click on preview. I don't know if you guys can see that. See, when we select that, we can see the item selected. Okay, so with that being said, the other thing that we need to do now is to go create some sort of a pass in the ChatPartnerPickerViewModel as an observed object. That way we can use it to handle the selection and deselection. And you see what I mean in a second. So let's go back. Well, actually, before we go anywhere, let's just mark this as an observed object. So we're going to say observed object, and we're going to say we're expecting a view model here. And this view model is just our ChatPartnerPickerViewModel. Okay. So SwiftUI preview is going to yell at us. We're just going to initialize it right here. But something else is going to yell at us. If we go into our ChatPartnerPickerScreen, right? Well, let us replace this placeholder with the add new chat partner, add new group chat partner. So add group chat partner screen. Gee, I'm getting everything wrong today. And then we're going to pass in that view model. So if we run things on our simulator, let's just make sure everything is working as expected. Why is this yelling at us? Okay, so we need to make this a view builder because we need it to be dynamic. So we're going to mark that destination view as a view builder. So now we're going to go to our channel tab screen. We're going to open a new channel that we're about to create. When we click on new group, look at that. It takes us to this screen, right? Which is good. And now, as we just did, we just injected the view model inside of the screen as well. And so what that's going to allow us to do is let's jump right into that view model. And let's create a function that's going to be responsible for selection and deselection of a specific chat partner. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to create a publish variable. I'm going to create a container that sort of allows us to know who we've selected anyway. So I'll say selected chat partners. It's going to be nil upon on initialization. The other thing I'm going to do is I am going to create some sort of a computed property that allows us to be able to show the selected chat partners. And here's what I mean. In the completed project, this is what it looks like. If you come here, as you can see, when you select an item, this new section pops up, right? This is just similar to what the real WhatsApp application on the App Store looks like. And so we need to create a Boolean logic that allows us to be able to recreate this functionality. And here's how we're going to accomplish that. We're going to say show selected users, and it's just going to be of Boolean. And I'm just going to say if the selected chat partners is not empty, then we're going to show this Boolean. And here's what I mean. I'm going to jump right back into our, actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's hold on to this. Let us finish our function that is going to undo selection. So I'm going to create a marked property here. And I'm just going to call it public methods. And what does this public method do? Well, it's going to handle item selection. Okay. And then I'm going to create another function that allows me to be able to know if an item has been selected. So the way I'm going to know if an item has been selected is by using the contains function. I'm going to say if it contains the same UID of the item that I'm comparing it to, then that means that user item has been selected. So just like that, I'm going to return is selected. And this method is going to come very handy for us later on. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to say if is user selected, meaning this user, that means the user has already been selected, so we need to deselect. Else, we need to select. That means the user has not been selected yet. So let us first undo the selection, which is pretty easy. And the way we're going to do that is going to just use the index. So we're going to say the selected chat partners. We're going to get the first index for a specific user. So we're going to say if the item that we just selected is equals to that item, that means we have that index. And then we're going to say selected chat partners. We're going to remove the item at that specific index. Okay, so that is the selection. What about selection? Well, for selection, we're going to say selected chat partners, and we're just going to append that specific item. That's all we need to do here. And now we're going to go use all of this inside of our chat partner picker screens and our add group chat partner screen. And so let's go into our add group chat partner screen. Excuse me, guys. And in here, we have our chat partner row view, and we have this function. And all we have to do is call that view model. So we're going to say view model dot handle item selection, and this should come with an item. And we're just going to pass in that item. All right, let's resume our SwiftUI preview. Okay, well, this is yelling at us. Let us create just a basic placeholder here. So I'm going to say user item dot placeholder, just something like that for now. Okay, so when we select this, and this is how we're going to know if something is selected. So remember the initial function, this initial computed property. This is where this is going to come in handy. This show selected users property. So for that, we're just going to come right above our section. We're going to say if view model dot show selected users, and all we got to do is just, let's just give that selected user's name. So we're just going to say, let's just put that right there. Users selected. Okay, so now let's try that again. And look at that. Deselection, selection, deselection, selection. However, we are not done. As you can notice, that's a little bit junky, and we also need to fix this checkmark functionality. We would like to be able to checkmark a specific item if it has been selected. And the way for us to do that is pretty simple, actually. So right in here, inside of this view builder closure, all we have to do is just check for an item selection. Then create a new image name. If it's selected, well, we're going to use the system image checkmark the circle the fill. Else, we're going to use circle. And we're going to take this image name, pass it into our system name parameter, right? And what else do we need to do? That's it. So now let's try that. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. However, we'd also like to change the foreground color, because if you think about it, the foreground color right now is just the system gray. So we're just going to say foreground style. Let's just call it that. This equals to, is it selected? If it's selected, what do you think? Let's do color the blue. If it's not selected, let's do system gray 4. And then we're going to take that foreground style, pass it into the foreground style modifier. And so if we click on that, it gives us this exact functionality that we want. However, you can still notice it's a little bit jumpy, and I would like for us to not have a jumpy animation when an item is selected and deselected. And the way for us to fix that is just to go, right above of our searchable. Let's just add an animation modifier. We're going to add animation, and we're just going to say ease in out, and we're going to pass in a value, and the value is just going to be viewModel.show selected users. Look at that. So much more beautiful, isn't it? And as you can see, this show selected users computer property really comes in clutch for us because it allows us to be able to handle the selection animation and the deselection animation and change a bunch of specific properties. And so this episode is already a little bit long. In the next episode, I am going to focus on building out this other functionality, which is showing this actual user selected section and showing this screen that allows us to be able to add a title to a group chat. So that's it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.